Hey guys, CommodorePET here, and welcome back to another video on my channel. And today I am bringing you the Jartex Skywars tier list. So pretty much I have every single Jartex Skywars map in solos, and I'm going to be ranking them in order, basically, of what I think is S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and like skip tier. I'd also like to mention that the link for this will be in the description below. If you want to do your own tier list, for a video on your channel or whatever, go straight ahead. So there are 24 maps currently. I think I got every single map. If I did miss a map, then that kind of sucks. But, yeah, just comment the map if I did miss one. I'll take a screenshot of it and I'll add it to the tier list for later on. And maybe I'll put where I would put it in the comments below. But starting off here, I want to go to the skip tier. Now, the only map that's going to be in a skip tier is Pirate. Instantly. Reason why it's in skip tier is because this map is terrible. It's genuinely awful. It's awkward from your spawn island. The middle's awkward. It's too much void. It's basically, whenever I see this map, I instantly skip it. I basically do /Skywars-1 because I am not playing this map ever. Okay, unless I'm playing duos and, my partner wants to play this map, fine. But this map is just terrifying. I hate it. Okay, moving on. Frost. This map, S tier map. This map is it's so good. Okay, it's there are a few problems with it, but the way the map flows is just so good. From your spawn island to what I call fake middle, you're gonna see me mention this a lot. Fake middle is like that island you get to before you go to the middle island, and I don't know why I call it fake middle, but I call it fake middle. Okay, so you have your spawn island, fake middle, and then middle. Okay, so basically, you go from your spawn island to fake middle. It's very easy to get there. In most cases, you can kind of just jump on the icicles sticking out, so you don't even have to build, which is really cool, which promotes fast-paced gameplay. And also getting from the fake middle to middle is very quick, only a couple blocks, and the map has good visibility. You can see everybody coming. The only thing that a lot of people don't like about this map is the elevation, but if you know how to play it correctly, you can use the elevation to your advantage, because it does basically go straight up, into kind of like a point, and, it's also a very mixy map sometimes, but I find it's very open. You can kind of finesse around things. This map is an S tier. It flows extremely well, which is really what I look for in a Skywars map. So now moving on to the next map, which is Desolate. This map is a D tier map. I do not like this map at all for a few simple reasons. Okay, one, your spawn island is too far away from this outer ring here. It's when you try to build, most of the time you're going to get knocked off because it's just way too far. And it makes the game so slow because nobody wants to build because everybody's looking at each other. It's just, the map is so slow because of that one specific reason. Also, these bridges here that go to mid from the outer ring, they're just terrible as well. They're too skinny, in my opinion, and they got the hole in the middle, which is fine. Honestly, that's not a big deal. But I feel like if they were wider and there was more of them, more of these bridges to connect instead of just the four. And also the middle island is a little bit higher than the bridges, so if you go across the bridge, somebody can just kind of hold you on the bridge because you'd have to go up and to get over to the middle once you cross the bridge, which means people can just stand there and kind of knock you off, and it's just the flow of this map just isn't very good. So now moving into the next map, which is Crossy Roads. This map is D tier as well, but it's higher than Desolate. This map, it's a fun map, but it's too big in my opinion. The fake middle is too big, there's so many things in the way, which makes 2v1s just so difficult to do, especially if you're playing teams mode. And there's just so much things around which people can hide on top of, like these fake trees. People always go on top of that, or when you're at middle, there's that chicken thing. People always hide on top of there. There's the cars and stuff. Just too many places for people just to hole, and it's a power position, and it's really annoying, which slows down the game too much. Also, it's like, it takes a good amount of blocks for you to get from your spawn island to the fake middle, and from fake middle to middle, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a very slow map, and it's a fun map, and it's fun to PvP on it because you don't really have to worry about getting knocked off for the most part, but it's just very slow, and I think it could be better. So now, moving on to the map Houses. This map is a C tier map. Now, what I do like about this map is I like how close the spawn islands are to the outer ring here. I feel like, that's a pretty good distance. But what I do not like is I don't like the middle on this map. It's, in my opinion, too small, and there's too much of an elevation. It's like sitting on like a hill with this house in the middle, and the house is just makes people like, they camp on top of it, or they're just kind of sitting there. There's very awkward fights. It basically makes for a lot of like trade hit battles, or like critting people out. And if this was a little bit bigger, I feel like the map would be a lot better because the outer ring is perfectly designed. I do feel like maybe it should be a little bit bigger, but overall, I think it's okay where it is. It's just this middle island which ruins it for me. Because people like to camp in here and everything like that, and it just slows the game down, and it can be very annoying. So I think this map could even be like an A tier map if they were just to make the middle a little bit bigger. But it's going to stay at C tier for now. So here we got Mansion. This map is a D tier map. This isn't like a skip map. It's close to being a skip map. I'm actually going to put this behind Desolate. I do not like this map for the simple reason that this, going from this island to middle, is way too far. It's like, you have to place like 10 blocks or something like that. It is too far. It makes it so that everybody gets stuck at fake middle. You build over to where that mushroom is, and everybody gets stuck there because it takes too long to build. So if you try to build over to middle, somebody's going to build from their island to the fake middle and knock you off before you can build to middle. It's just too far. This is the main thing about this map. It slows it all down. It makes everything annoying. If they were to move middle closer, like maybe 3 or 4 blocks distance, this map would be so much better. Because I feel like, it's designed to be kind of a circle, so you can kind of like force people like to the edge to kind of like knock them off. I feel like it's really good in that regard. The middle, like inside the mansion, is pretty good. I feel like everything about the map is good except for this long distance, which just ruins it for me. As well as the mushroom is sort of big on fake middle here, where it's like, it kind of makes an awkward fight. But really, it's just this is just too far. Now moving on to this map. I think this is Meadows? Yeah, Meadows. This map is also a C tier map. It goes behind houses. This map recently got a lot better because the distance between your fake middle to middle actually is closer now, which this map flows a lot better because of it. But what makes this map worse is that people like to sit on this like outer ring here. They like to sit there and don't like to go straight to middle. And this tree like that's in the middle is kind of annoying as well. But overall, it's just a slow map to play. People don't like to really push you on this map. Even though it could be played very fast-paced, for some reason, it just isn't a fast-paced map. But, and because of that, it's a C-tier map. It's just very long. It's awkward getting from middle back to these rings because this, like, kind of like broken outer ring here is higher than middle, which makes it awkward getting back. And a lot of people like to hold you there and stuff like that, or hold you at middle. So it's still going in C tier for me. We have Meteors. Meteors is an S tier map, which is going to go ahead of Frost. There we go. Meteors is my personal favorite map in the game. It's a perfect map in my opinion. Well, almost perfect. I feel like the outer ring is amazingly designed. It's a good distance. I feel like it has a good amount of clutter in it, which makes it so you can still combo people off, but you can still, like, save yourself if you need to. You're not going to just go flying. I also feel like, you know, the distance between your spawn island to the outer ring here is perfect. It makes people engage other people in combat. You know, people can't camp on their spawn island. It's very hard to camp on this map, which makes it end super quickly. It forces people to actually play the game. The only thing I don't like is the middle. I feel like it's just kind of awkward to get to. You can go on top of these like smoke things, which is easy way to get to middle, but doing that is kind of tedious. And a lot of people don't even go to mid anyways. They just stay at the ring because that's where all the action is. So most of the time, the game ends without anybody actually going to middle. So it's kind of like this ring is just the middle, which makes this map flow a lot better, and it's really, really good. Now, Mosaic. This is an A tier map. Now, the reason why Mosaic is A tier is because, in my opinion, it's a little bit too big. This map is really, really big, which makes it amazing for, like, fighting people and, you know, like, kind of getting out of situations, but it's also so big to the point where it's kind of hard to find people. You know, if somebody's sitting on your island, like, you can't find them. You know what I mean? And even if people are at mid, they can escape pretty easily. They can run around in circles, and like with these things that are like at the top, I find people like to pearl, and like they pearl on a wall and block clutch and kind of camp there, which is annoying. A lot of people like to camp on top of these things. But overall, this map is still good. The distances you have to build to get to certain islands is perfect. It's like really good in that regard. It's really easy to clutch on as well if you get knocked off, because there's a lot of like overhanging rocks. But it's just these little things up top that are really annoying, and I feel like it's just a little bit too big. But, you know, all of that still doesn't take away from how fun the map is to play, and that's why it goes into A tier. So next we got Mushroom. I think there's something else that goes like behind it, like Mushroom something, but I'm just gonna call it Mushroom. This is a B tier map. This map is fun to play. It's a good distance to build from your island to the fake middle, and the fake middle to this outer ring at middle was actually, you know, a lot closer now, which is great. And getting from the outer ring to middle is literally just like 2 blocks. So this map flows very well, but I find a lot of people are just too scared to kind of maneuver on this map. A lot of people like to stay in that outer ring instead of jumping towards middle, which is kind of annoying for me. You know, because I like to play aggressive, and a lot of people just kind of stay at that outer ring and like not push anybody, or, you know, it's very easy to block glitch as well. And since the outer ring is so close to mid, you can kind of knock people like from mid to that outer ring when you're trying to knock them in the void. But overall, it's still a very good map. It's just kind of annoying to play at times, depending on the players that are in the game. Like, if players, like, everybody's pushing and it's really fun, this could be like an S tier map experience. But most of the time, that's not the case. People like to camp that like outer ring, so pretty much it's going to be in B tier. Next, we have Music. This is an S tier map. Now, the thing about Music is it's a very big map, but what makes it different from a map like Mosaic is that everything is connected. And there's very simple ways to figure out where people are on this map. What I usually do is I'll like put a couple blocks where I came from, because you kind of go on these guitars and you go from the guitars to middle, which is like the music discs. And I'll place a couple blocks on the edge of the guitar when I'm at middle, so I know that I went there and nobody else is at that part of the map. So that means like there's only like 3 other guitars I can go to. So this map, overall, very quick to build from your spawn island to this guitar, which basically is connected to middle, which it makes the flow amazing. Middle is a perfect size because it's circular, means you can kind of like, you know, chase people around and kind of cut them off. This island is actually a pretty good size as well for knocking people off or just taking a fight. This map, it also flows extremely well. People like to play very fast. So overall, it's an S tier map. Moving into Paint, this is high A tier. The reason I'm not putting Paint in S tier, I used to have it in S tier, is because of this problem right here. This little paintbrush that you go to from your spawn island is annoying. Like, a lot of people don't like to push because of that. People will just kind of sit on their island and stare at you with eggs because it's so close and so easy to knock you off, which kind of ruins the flow of the map. And it's just, basically, when you ruin the flow of the map, it just causes the game to last longer. People will hold you at certain spots, and it doesn't allow you to even really have a fair chance to get to middle. And overall, it's just kind of awkward. But once you get past that to like over here and to mid, overall, the map plays really well. Like, the mid is perfect size, in my opinion. It's a good amount of space to just fight people. It's a good amount of space to, like, knock people off. Overall, it's a very fun map, but just the beginning portion just makes me move it down to A tier. Next, we got Pine. This is a B tier map, in my opinion. Higher than Mushroom, though. The reason why this isn't like an A tier is because I feel like the map is a little bit too small. I know, maps are too big, maps are too small. I get it. But basically, from your spawn island... Oh my god, Minecraft noises in the background. From your spawn island to the fake middle here, this is perfectly fine. It's a good amount of distance, it's great, but there's a lot of clutter here, which makes knocking people off really awkward, and sometimes you take knockback pretty awkwardly as well, and you kind of go flying. It's really weird. Middle is also very small, which means, if a bunch of people are at middle, it's going to be chaos. And since it's so easy to get to middle, it's usually chaos, and it's usually the person who has the most healing, or the person who cleans everybody up, who ends up winning, which, I mean, this map is fun, but from a player standpoint, I'm trying to think, for a lot of Jartex players, they probably will not like this map. And for me personally, I do enjoy it, and I think it's a very fun map, but I feel like it's also a very annoying map just because of the size. Alright, now we have Canyon. This map is an A tier map. It's right above Paint. It's almost an S tier map in my opinion, but there's a few things that I don't like about this map that doesn't make it S tier. And one of those things is the in between this island that you go to here and middle, there's these like 2 block things, and basically those are just kind of annoying. Like, I wish it would just went from this to middle, because those 2 block things are just annoying to deal with. They're like 2 little mini islands in between. One has the what is it, the anvil thing on it, like that. Like, one of them has that, and you kind of like just kind of sit in between, like, this island, you have the anvil on it, and then you got mid. It's just kind of weird, and I feel like that just shouldn't exist. It just goes straight to mid. Also, mid kind of goes up in elevation, kind of like Frost, but what makes it different is that the map is smaller, like mid is smaller, which makes it kind of annoying if you get comboed and stuff. You kind of take a lot of fall damage. So, like, having, like, the feather falling boots are kind of a must, especially if you're fighting a lot of people on there, because you're going to take a lot of fall damage. So overall, it's an A tier map. I do like the way the map flows. It's usually very fast, but that little block in the middle, that's like in between the fake middle and the middle, is just really ruins the flow, in my opinion. A lot of times people camp there and kind of wait, but overall the map's still fun. Next we have, what is it, Farmland. Farmland is an S tier map. It is going, put it right behind music. Farmland is one of my favorite maps in the game. It's a very fun map because it's very easy for you to get from your island to the outer ring, and then pretty much from the outer ring to middle, it's kind of awkward, but it's still not very far, which is really good. I find a lot of people do go to middle, and middle on this map is pretty big as well, but it's still that circular style, which makes it so that you can like knock people off, and it's not like super annoying to fight on, which is cool. And most of the fighting happens in this outer ring anyways, and it's very aggressive, which I really love. And the chests are in good locations. You can see everybody across the map. Overall, it's a really fun map to play. Next, we have Ruins. Ruins is also an S tier map, and it's going right above Frost. There we go. Ruins is also one of my favorite maps to play. It's a cluttered map, which a lot of people don't like it because of that, especially at middle, it's kind of cluttered. But I do like how fast-paced the map is, and that's mainly the reason why it's in S tier, because everything is so close to each other. People don't camp on their island usually, and even though the middle is cluttered and there's a lot of elevation, it ends up adding to the map because it makes it so that even if you're trying to build up, for example, you don't get knocked off by the people who are like way up high because there's a lot of things in the way. There's a lot of ways to get up to the top without getting knocked off. And I feel like the map, even though there's a lot of clutter in the way, it still flows very well. And you can still escape people. You can run around in circles. You can heal. There's a lot of space that you can make between opponents. So overall, this is still an S tier map, and I really enjoy it. Now, Arcade. Arcade is an A tier map, which I think I'm actually going to put it... I'll put it above Paint, actually. I think Arcade is a very fun map. It's very simple to get to here. Now, fighting on the controller thing here, it's kind of awkward, but it's still not terrible. And there's just a long line that leads to middle, and middle is a pretty good size as well. You can knock people off pretty easily, but you can also have good fights. The underneath area at middle is still good as well. It's not too small, it's not too big. Overall, this map is just really fun. It flows well, and a lot of people don't camp on this map, which makes it, even better. The only thing is that some people do like to stay here on this controller rather than go to middle, but most of the time you have pearls and you can kind of just run across. So overall, this is an A tier map. Now moving on to Angry Birds. This is a B tier map. I'll put it right behind Pine. This map is fun to play. It is, I think, a little bit too far from your island to middle to build, but the middle island makes up for it. Everything is connected, and it basically, the visibility is very good on this map. You can see, enemies coming from across the map. It's great. You can kind of move around the map very easily as well. You can, kind of run around and heal if you need to. It's easy to get away from third parties. And, this map is perfect for teams mode as well. This is one of the best duos maps. Because it's very big and allows you to kind of play around other players and play around your teammate a lot. The chests are in good locations. The elevation is perfect because you have ladders and stuff to get to certain spots, and knockback on ladders is basically non-existent, so you don't really get knocked off. So overall, this map is really fun to play. And it's, it's easy to get to middle, but it's kind of long. But people don't knock you off because the spawn islands are kind of far away from each other. So it's kind of hard for you to time eggs to throw across the map to hit somebody. So overall, this map is really fun to play. Now we have Alien. This map is a C tier map. I'm putting it right behind Meadows because this map is fun, but it's awkward. For example, you get the diagonal build to get from the fake middle to middle. And at middle, you got these tentacle things, and you got this big bowl in the middle. It's just really awkward of a map to play. It's people like to stay on height. It's you don't really know when people are coming at you. It's just awkward. I really don't have anything else to say. It's an awkward map. Moving on to Beach. This is also a C tier map in my opinion. I'm actually going to put it above Alien. I'd rather play Beach than Alien, to be fair. Beach, it's a fun map. Building is very simple, not that many blocks to get to middle, but I find that a lot of people just like to camp here and not really push mid, or when people do push mid, I find that mid is a little bit too open. You can kind of cut everybody off too easily, which just makes fights really awkward because you're trying to move around and somebody else hits you, then you go through middle again, and then it's somebody else is there. It just makes fights so awkward for everybody. So overall, I think that this map just needs to go in C because it's very quick to get to places, but it's just awkward. And also, I forgot to mention the chests, they changed them. And the chests were better when they were just at the very middle because it just made it even more awkward where the chests are located now. But anyways, moving on. This is a map called Temple, I think. And this map is also a D tier map, but it's the highest D tier map in my opinion. I do like how simple it is to get from, your island to this outer ring here. This outer ring is perfect the way it's built. It's a good distance. It's really good, but what I hate about this map, and I think makes it D tier, is where the middle island is located. It's too far away, for one, and these stairs make it really annoying for you to either get back to here or get from here to middle. And if this map was connected, like the stairs had like a bridge connecting the outer ring, this map would instantly go up to like a B tier or an A tier map. But just because middle is so awkward, and people always love to go to mid on this map for some reason, it's just, I don't know, it's a very awkward map, and people like to camp on top of here as well, which is really annoying, or they like to kind of sit in between here and they kind of wait for you to jump down. It's a very annoying experience sometimes. So moving on to Tower. This map, it's a B tier map. I was going to go behind Angry Birds. This map is a very fun map to play. It's pretty easy to get from your spawn island to middle, but the tower at mid is kind of small, and it's very awkward to fight on because, you know, that big like staircase in the middle and the top of the tower is kind of weird. The outer ring is a perfect size. It's not too big, not too small. There's like a lot of like things in the way which you can use to kind of make sure you don't go flying off the map. I think that's good. I think this like fake middle is also very good. But what makes the map a B tier map is that the map itself just flows very slowly. Although everything about this map screams aggressive, I find a lot of time, like whenever I'm playing this map, it takes a good amount of time to complete just because a lot of players just do not want to go to that middle tower, or they kind of want to stay here or their spawn island instead of going to mid or the like outer ring of mid. So like overall it's just kind of slow. So now moving on to Wumpus. Wumpus is a good map. I'm going to put it in A tier. I love playing this map just because it's very, very fast paced. This map is super quick. Like, I'll be playing this map, I'll go to mid, and as soon as I get to mid, there's like 3 people left in the game, and I'm one of them. This map is so quick. Like, people fall off the map left and right, people get knocked off left and right, punch bows send people flying immediately, like, it's crazy. Like, way back in the day when punch bows were really common on Jartex, this map was basically just get to middle and use a punch bow and you'd win in like 2 seconds. Like, this map used to be like the most fast-paced map in the game because of that, but since there's not as many punch bows anymore, it's gotten a little bit slower, but it's still one of the most fast-paced maps in the game, and I love it because of that. But the reason why it's not S tier is because I feel like, although it's very fast and it's fun, I don't like this outer ring. I feel like the outer ring is just too... How would I put this? The outer ring is just too much clutter on it. All these little like shapes and stuff makes it so hard to chase people and, you know, knock people off, and there's all these different elevations. Middle is okay as well, but there's these like things in the way. People pearl on top of them, and, you know, there's these like things that make it so you kind of get stuck if you take knockback and all that. So overall, like, this map's just like, it's fun, it's very fast paced, but like, it's just a little bit of flaws. Also, knocking people off, like, when you hit somebody from mid, they usually end up here instead of actually going in the void because the outer ring is so close to mid. And now moving on to the last map here, we have Tribal. This used to be my favorite map, but it's since been knocked down a couple pegs, and we're going to put it right here. Now, the reason why I love Tribal is, even though it's a very big map at mid, depending on the island you spawn on, it could be a very quick experience, because you can get to mid in 4 blocks on some of the islands, but some of the islands it's like 12. So that's why this map is an S tier. If they were to put the islands in correct locations, it would be S tier, but since some of them are so far away for some reason, I have no idea why, it's still an A tier map. Middle is very fun to play, and it's actually surprisingly easy to knock people off, because the map is circular, or the mid is circular, which overall, it's just Like, it actually makes it easy to knock people off, and it's fun. The middle, like, temple, like, you can knock people off and catch people off guard, which is also very fun to fight on. Kind of reminds me of, like, Skybridge PvP back in the day. If you guys played HCF or any of that, you remember Skybridge PvP? That was always the most fun thing to do. So, I love this map, personally. I think it's, goes in A tier. But I'm intrigued to hear what you guys have to say. Do you guys agree with my tier list? I'll put the link in the description down below so you can make your own tier lists. Maybe put your own tier list in the comments of what you think would be S tier, A tier, B tier, C, D, skip. If there is any maps you'd like to skip. Yeah, I'm really curious. So, anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye, and have a great day.